I think, episode of Straight Shooting. I'm Scott Eiland, and joining me today is, well, a man who really needs no introduction, the former AIWF Mid-Atlantic champion, Scrapyard Dog. Scrap,
Nice
say hello to the fans.
Hello, everybody out there in wrestling land, TV land, whatever.
Well, we have a lot to go over. You are a published author. The Behind the Curtain, currently available at all the events that you have. You have it all, and I assume on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon and it's also on Wasteland Press's website.
Okay, and this is something that was written entirely by your hand, cover to cover, your thoughts, unvarnished, untarnished. You edited it yourself with a little bit of help, maybe, and that was it. This is so if you want to get a look at the, well, this is a shoot interview, but if you want to get a real look at some of your thoughts, this is a great resource for that. I read this thing cover to cover in one night. I give it my strongest recommendation. I understand a second book might be in the offing.
Oh yeah, I'm working on the second book now. So it's going to be titled called The Wrestling Playbook, and it's going to pretty much be a self-help guide for young wrestlers coming up in the business today.
We talk a lot about that, about the foundations and how important a strong base is needed. Now, let's talk about your foundations, because you have, your mentor was one of the, well, he's world famous, he's well known, he's been in the business for over 4 years, and we're talking about managing fans. So let's talk about how you got involved in wrestling to begin with, to start.
Well, it goes way back from, watching Crockett promotion. That's basically how it started for me. It was a love affair as a fan first, and then it translated into like wrestling in high school. I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler, and when I met Manny, they gave me the opportunity to learn from probably one of the best that ever laced up a pair of boots.
How old were you when you started?
I was 30, I think 30 or 31.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is, we're not talking about 40 years, this isn't, you weren't one of those kids who were wrestling at age 13, like you see a lot of them out there.
No.
So you're from?
Well, as far as professional wrestling is concerned, I got a late start in business by industry standards.
Right.
But I made it work for me in whatever capacity necessary.
Sure. So you were in your early 30s. I mean, shoot, Chuck King started when he was 38.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page started when he was 38. So compared to those two, you were big.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, King's going to kill me when he hears this. Anyway, the point is that you started, but you already had you had a base already. You'd been a fan forever. Is it better to start later than earlier, in your view, when it comes to the learning curve?
I think the best thing for guys to do nowadays is really get himself with somebody that can really teach him something.
Okay.
Somebody that can really mentor him and show him the ins and outs about the business from an old school perspective. A lot of these guys that I see on the Indian circuit today get in the ring and they're not trained. Okay, they don't know what they're doing. And when they step in there with somebody that does know what they're doing, it shows.
Right.
So I think from a mentor standpoint, teacher standpoint, get with somebody that's qualified to teach you what it is you need to know.
What was the first thing you learned from Manny Fernandez? You started when you made him your trainer.
Paying your dues. He was very big on. He loved to train. That's one thing about Manny. He loved to train. He loved to teach. Taught me a lot. I learned a lot about the inner workings of the business. That was very helpful, as would come, into play later on down the road. That was some of the main points. But overall, just to be taught by somebody like that. And like I say, Rick Link, Beastmaster Rick Link, was what started me on the hardcore stuff that I did.
Right.
So I learned a lot from him. So I had a lot of mentors and teachers in different phases in my career.
Okay. And now you're in a phase where you're still wrestling every weekend. You still train others.
Yeah.
And so, what's the biggest advantage somebody gets from hiring a Scrapyard Dog as a trainer?
Like I said, just what I was talking about earlier, just learning the business from an old school perspective. I guess taking it from somebody who's taught by somebody who's old school that come up in that time period. And, you know, a lot of guys, like I said, a lot of guys, they get in the ring nowadays, and you got guys in there teaching guys who don't know what to do themselves. And I'm not saying I'm the best wrestler or things like that. You know, I mean, there are guys, you know, on the indie circuit, in the professional circuit, as far as TV, that can run circles around me. I just know what works from a psychology standpoint.
Okay.
And that's basically, you know, I'm more into psychology of a match more than I am the moves that's in the match.
Right. Okay. Well, how did you come up with, now, why do you call yourself Scrapyard Dog?
Well, actually,
that wasn't your birth name.
No,
sure.
No. Actually, it was given to me by a promoter by the name of Tim Blaze.
Okay, I know Tim Blaze.
Yeah, he, at that particular time when I started working for TW in Ashburn,
Sure.
I had like a full beard.
Uh-huh.
I've shaved it down some of them, but a full beard, and he said, man, you look just like JYD. I'm like, really? He said, but instead of calling you JYD Jr. or something like that, why don't we just call you, Scrapyard Dog?
Right.
So, okay. So I pretty much got the gimmick from him.
Right.
And that's a gimmick I've been using, I think, since 2005.
Wow. So you've been wrestling for more than a long, I'd say, what, is it 15 years now?
16 years.
16 years.
Just 2014, about 16 years.
Wow. Okay. And so what did you go by before then? This is a great question to ask McBride. Same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Same look on his face too.
Well, I had another gimmick back in 2002, which will remain nameless right now.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about bringing that gimmick back. So for those people who weren't around in 2002 that didn't know what that was, sorry. But I did go by the name Maniac Rip Manson. That was one of mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like from the Manson family.
Yeah.
Does anything to do with Moses Manson now? Is that?
Well, no, matter of fact, I didn't know Moses then.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. Because I met Moses back in 2004.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of just it's a common heel name. It's, the Manson thing, the
Exactly.
Cactus Jack Manson,
Exactly.
all that. It evokes an image.
Exactly.
So, all right. You, in a general sense, is it a risk to have a tribute name like Scrapyard Dog in the independent business now, where everybody knows everybody and everybody's connected to everybody?
Well, I've heard, like fans get on my Facebook page and say things like, that's a shame you got to use somebody else's gimmick. That's a shame that that you using Scrapyard Dog and Junkyard Dog was this, that, and blah, blah, blah. And my response to that was, do you think that Nature Boy Ric Flair was the first time Nature Boy was used in front of somebody?
Heck no.
Nature Boy Buddy Rogers?
Right.
Where did you think Flair got it from?
Yeah, you got it.
So, I don't think too much. It is what it is.
Right.
Okay, I let what I do in the ring do my talking, folks. So.
In a micro sense, and this is just me editorializing here, when I put up posters that have your face on it, I get two reactions. I get the reaction of Boogie Woogie Man, the guy in the Elizabeth Tony, he's all over social media, he's everywhere. I see your face, like, I recognize him from somewhere. And the Scrapyard Dog thing evokes an image that he gives, no, I know him from somewhere. I think that the tribute name helps that. So if it helps the bottom line, what is some more on a Facebook?
Well, I've actually went to shows, and I come out, and of course they announce me in the ring, and somebody in the crowd they thought I was his nephew or his son or something along those lines.
Right.
So that.
Right, so if it evokes an image, JYD evokes a very positive image in old school fans. They remember the big thump, they remember the guy who'd roll around on the ground, they remember that guy, and if you evoke that image, who cares if you guys didn't actually know one another?
We did.
It's too bad. I would have loved to book JYD to work a match, either
JYD versus SYD.
JYD versus SYD or as a tag team. That could have happened. Now that I've been in the independents a while, I know this sort of stuff. Hey, anybody can be had.
Exactly.
Everybody's got a price.
Exactly.
And there are certain things I wish I could do that I can't do because it's no longer here. But I just wanted to give you a chance to air that because I hear it and it upsets me because I'm like, come on, get a grip.
Well, I mean, this is like, as far as social media is concerned, everybody always got an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is what, like I said before, it is what it is.
Is social media a negative influence on the independent business?
yes and no. From a promoting standpoint, it can be very good. From a people always having an opinion and talking about this, that, and the other, and really don't know what they're talking about, that part is there. But yeah, it's a positive and a negative to me.
Do you think independent workers hurt their branding by stuff they say on Facebook and Twitter?
Oh yeah, yeah, because I read a lot of posts from guys in the business and on Twitter and on Facebook, and I'm like, why would you say this? Why would you say that? But
Would it be helpful for wrestlers who had aspirations to do media training formally from somebody who,
what do you mean as far as?
like, to learn how to use it,
Yeah.
the do's and don'ts, how to use it, to go through a formal class? 'Cause I think that it's going to be more and more necessary as we get in the next generation. You got kids 10 years old who have had iPads almost their entire lives. I'm thinking
iPads, cell phones, you name it.
it's going to become even more of an issue.
Well, I mean,
Going
it's
forward.
I mean, when people, when they got on the internet and the internet exploded, and people, like say in the '90s, and you call them the internet nerds, and they get on there and post their little this, that, and the other about whatever's going on. And to me, it's been more of a hurt to the business than a help. I basically use the internet to promote what I do. I don't get too involved in what people have to say because everybody has an opinion. So I promote what I do. I promote, of course, the book.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's called Behind the Curtain. Get it on Amazon. And I will link that on my website, scotteiland.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem.
But anyway, and that's basically what I use it for, and I don't get too much wrapped up in, what people have to say.
Well, that's important. And I think that's it's a maturity thing. I think people need to learn that. There are some young guys who I see who are really, really good at it. Some of them work here at the AIWF in Atlanta, who use it properly, but it needs to become, I think that people kill their own employment chances by just spouting off on Twitter, spouting off on Facebook, especially when it comes to running down whatever the national promotions are doing. But, okay, so Behind the Curtain. What's your most controversial? You take a lot of controversial stances in here. You and I have talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most controversial thing you'll hear? This is just the one nugget that I want people to buy this from. What are you talking about here?
Well, give me one that you.
The Kennedy assassination. Let's talk about that.
Well, the way I view that is it was planned by government.
Really?
There's no way Oswald could have shot up the car the way they say he did in the allotted time given. Okay, for instance, you had a bullet that hit Kennedy in the throat.
Right.
You had a bullet to hit him in the head.
Yes.
So there were at least 2 frontal shots. Because if you look at this,
Now, Gerald Posner was sitting here. He can tell you something else. I'm listening.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when Kennedy, if you look at the Zapruder film, and I've studied it 25 years now.
Right.
If you look at the Zapruder film, when Kennedy came from behind, the guy was filming, came from behind the road sign. Okay, he was clutching his throat like this.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a frontal shot.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, you know the shot in the head.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 shots right there. And I got pictures where I can show you where there was a bullet that hit him in the back.
Right.
Okay? There was one that hit going to come.
Right.
There was a bullet hole in the windshield. There was a bullet hole in the door panel.
Right.
There was a bullet hole that went over the limousine and hit the curb on the other side of the street. Okay? Now, how do you get that much damage done with just 3 bullets? Okay? Because once you determine that one guy firing 3 shots couldn't have caused all that damage, there had to be a second shooter that day.
Right.
Which you're in the conspiracy by definition.
Right. Okay. So you're saying you're basically taking the same tack that Oliver Stone's taking.
Well, I tell you what you do. If you don't believe what I'm saying, get a book by a guy by the name of Robert Root.
Okay.
It's a complete photographic record
All right.
of the Kennedy assassination. Okay? And it shows all these pictures with all these various bullet holes like in the car and in Kennedy's clothing and one that hit him in the back.
Right.
Okay? And there's no way, they tried to say Oswald did it to keep the assassination behind Kennedy's limousine in direction of the school bus depository.
Right.
But see, when there was a problem, one of those buses had to injure both ends.
Right.
Okay?
Would have had to create 7 wounds total.
Yeah. So, you know, how can you get, never in the history of gunfire has there been a bullet that ridiculous. Stop here, go down here, turn here, do this.
All right. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, all these are valid. I actually don't disagree with what you're saying. There's a lot out
But you
there.
gotta understand the motivation for wanting to kill President Kennedy.
What was it, do you think?
Okay, the CIA didn't like him because of the Bay of Pigs.
And because he was gonna gut their agency. Go ahead.
Okay. White supremacists in the South didn't like him because of what he was doing for civil rights.
Sure.
The Pentagon didn't like him because he was trying to stop the war in Vietnam.
Right.
Okay, so there was a lot of motivation to get him out of the way. And if you look at it, like, okay, if only a lightning bolt would fall in the right place, then we'd have Lyndon Johnson, who had an almost maniacal assertion to want to be president.
Yeah.
But there's only one thing in the way.
He was vice
And
president.
they could not let Kennedy get to win the night, because they knew he was sure to win the 1964 election.
Right.
That's why I had to stop in Dallas, okay? So he couldn't be reelected.
Wow, okay. All right. All right, well, you can find this and other controversial stands and Behind the Curtain. This is Scrapyard Dog's autobiography and, well, just about everything else you have. And they're still on sale, and it's a really good read. It kept me up one full sleepless night, and so I highly recommend it.
I appreciate that.
All right, so who is your toughest opponent in your career, 16 years now?
I would have to say, from a real physical type of match, what I like getting into, just hard hitting, just grind it out. I'd probably have to say Ogaboga.
Ogaboga.
Yeah.
Ogaboga, who is, he's about a little bit, maybe your height, maybe a little shorter,
Yeah.
370 pounds, and can do, and strong as an ox.
Strong as an ox. Yeah. I'd have to say, I've been in a lot of hardcore matches, whether it's been thumbtacks and it's been barbed wire and all that type of stuff, and those are physical matches, okay? But as far as not using any type of weapons, anything like this, it's a straight up wrestling match. I know I'm gonna get hit when I get in the ring with him, there's no question about that.
He has that finisher where he basically grabs you by the balls and throws you down.
Yes, not good.
The wakibi.
Yeah, not good.
Not fun. Man, I've
You
seen you.
ought to take that.
I should take one.
You should take
I've never upset him, but maybe, you never know.
Every time I get in the ring with him, look across the ring with him, he gets upset, so. That's what it is. So.
What about your feud? Probably the one thing that the casual fan knows best is your feud in 2012 with Rob McBride.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. You win the AIWF Mid-Atlantic title by basically using a taser on him
Right.
in the tournament finale. You
Right.
join the Old School Mafia, you
Right.
basically become the enforcer.
Right.
You hold the belt for a good amount of time. Your first March of 2012, you two face off for the first time. He hits the Saturday Night Superstar,
Mhm.
but thanks to your manager, Rick Diesel, he gets disqualified. So let's talk about, we've talked about this at length with Rob on my show and on this show on previous episodes. So let's talk about your opinion of how that feud was told and what you experienced through it.
I think that it was played out beautifully. Here again, from an old school perspective. I had a lot of fun wrestling Rob. And he basically, from a babyface standpoint, did exactly what a babyface is supposed to do. And that's chase the heel for the title.
Right.
And it ultimately culminates with him winning the title. Okay? Because I remember him winning the title in Thomasville, actually winning the title.
Right.
And I go to the back dressing room to dress, and I come out, and just kind of people do the, and I can see Rob over there getting mobbed by fans for the title.
Right, because they followed the feud from start to
Yeah,
finish.
exactly. Great night for him.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And to say, and when it comes time for you to pass the torch, that's how you do business.
Right.
Okay? And I can say that's one of the, that was classic babyface, ultimate babyface versus the ultimate heel.
Looking for a great convenience store? Then look no further than Eddie's Zip Food Store, located on Andy Crook Parkway right here in Mount Airy. It's your hometown store, offering discount cigarettes, beer, lottery tickets, prepaid phone cards, Western Union, so much more. And Eddie's Zip Food Store is an exclusive AIWF Advanced Ticket Center. Call 789-1748.
Hey, Paul, I'm hungry. You forgot to pack a lunch.
That's all right, son. I stopped off at King's Hot Dogs. We got us some King dogs.
You're the best, Pa.
King's Hot Dog, building family memories for over 30 years. Located in the Village Square Plaza in Rural Hall. Call 336-969-4688.
Good hot dog. This is the life, son.
It sure is, Pa.
And you guys are not exactly spot marks. You guys did not do a lot of flips. Neither one of you got up on the top rope.
No.
It was just a pure psychological war. I consider it one of my favorite matches to have called.
Oh, you liked it?
I loved it.
Yeah, I see you got kind of excited. I heard him. Scott is getting excited.
Yes.
Listen to him. He's getting really excited.
So we're going to have to link to that because you and I should sit down and watch that start to finish because it was a good call. My partner.
Well, the first match that we had,
Yes.
when we was in Thomas the first time,
Yeah.
where he almost won the belt,
Yeah.
and we did the old school
The
dusty
switch
finish.
around.
Yeah, the old school dusty finish. That was great because
Yeah.
everybody knew he had it.
Yeah.
Then when the referee reversed it and gave it back, oh,
They were ready to kill you.
yeah.
They were ready to kill Diesel. too.
Yes, there was.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
So, but that was a great feud, and definitely, I hope that we have that archive because it was a classic. It was part of the affiliate program with the AIWF in Thomasville. Basically, we had that whole story told. The best chapters of that were in the same building, so fans who saw it in the spring came back and saw it in the late summer, got the same. They basically got the full story if you bought both those tickets. And that is wrestling at its best, I think. When wrestling grabs you and brings you in and brings in somebody like me into the story, well, then you've got it.
But see, that's the thing with, wrestlers today, they don't keep the crowd that paid a ticket that's sitting around the ring involved in the story that's going on inside the ring. They get in there, they flip, spot, blow half of them. And the crowd's sitting there, and I've watched guys on the Indian circuit, they just get in there and just spot after spot, and it looks like they're playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it looks like.
Well, that's how a lot of these kids grew
But
up.
when you get the fans emotionally invested in what you're doing, okay, where a simple hip toss, oh God, did you see that? That's wrestling.
And I'm of the opinion that when wrestling's done right, there's nothing like it.
No.
And when wrestling's done wrong, it can be a very painful experience for the fan.
And I've been on both ends.
Yes, sir.
From
We
a
talked about
learning standpoint, I've been on both ends.
Is there anybody on your wrestling bucket list you haven't gotten in the ring with? Who do you want to wrestle before you go hang out the tights?
Well, you just had one up here. Not too long ago.
Abdullah the Butcher?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But he wants to get back in the ring. He tried to take me on right in the same
Yeah,
time.
I saw that. I saw that.
That was a painful couple of minutes for me.
Yeah, I bet it was. I saw you sweat like a war hog. I saw that.
I know, now.
Yeah, but
Just be nice to the War Dogs.
Okay. Yeah, Abby would be, because matter of fact, I was actually supposed to do a match, a three-way between him, me, and Beastmaster Rick Link, but because of scheduling differences, we couldn't get that match to happen, but yeah.
Anyone else?
Let me think. somebody that I would like to have lunch before I hang it up. I'm gonna get back with you. Man.
Okay, I'd like to see you.
That question caught me off guard. I'm gonna get back with you.
Ricky Morton would be a great match for you.
You think so?
I think it'd be fun. You just pound the crap out of him. You'd have to try to figure out a way to schoolboy it.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun match.
Yeah.
I thought of that.
No, from a,
It's a potato.
well, from an old school perspective, yes, it would be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Ricky's very old school.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And he's very much, and I think that the two of you could make that happen. But anyway, let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, you're still bookable. You come right to you for booking.
Mm-hmm.
Your Twitter is?
At SY Dog Brand.
SY Dog Brand. Put that up on the, I'm hoping that our producer puts that up.
But yeah, put it, like to run across the bottom of the
There you
screen so everybody gets a good look at it.
That's the best. Is that the best way to book it? Just to DM you?
Yeah, Facebook, we booked me there. Pretty much I only work for a handful of promotions because I cut out of promotions where it's just not happening.
Right.
And I'm getting toward the, I guess you could say, twilight of my career.
Right.
So I take as many opportunities I think is going to push me forward as I possibly can. So I don't work into as many promotions as I used to.
I forgot about, who would you consider your most hated opponent? The guy you just, from the depths, just wanted to made you, kind of brought out the worst / best in you.
Yes, some very good questions.
I know, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know. I sit in the locker rooms. This is what I do. I sit in locker rooms and I hear guys talk.
I'm sure.
Like,
Do wrestlers talk? Does that happen?
Hear him talk and see how they act and stuff like that. And I've been thinking to myself, if I ever get in a ring with this guy, I'm gonna beat the hell out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't know.
Okay, good enough. So you can book it through Twitter, Facebook, and you will still take you'll still take outside bookings. You are available.
Well, I did a show for AIWF Empire,
Right.
and pretty much when I go out of state, it's pretty much a AIWF affiliate. So I kind of stay within the family affiliate.
Well, thank you for sitting down for straight shooting. You did better than Addy.
Addy is still my favorite person to work. If I ever get a match with Addy, there will be blood that night, boy.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Just keep that in mind.
Scrapyard Dog, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you
Bye.
for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.